Hello and welcome to the Illumicrate subscription box recap for 2025. So let's get into it. So Illumicrate is one of the biggest book subscription boxes in the United Kingdom, along with FairyLoot. I would say that that's the only one in the same sort of league. The other ones are only just behind, but Illumicrate have a variety of subscription boxes for you to choose from. So they have the big yellow box with book and items. That is any genre. It could be just a plethora of them. And that box is £29 for the box, £4.25 for shipping. And in total, it comes out at £36.58 because there's some tax to pay because of the items in it. Now you can get the book only of that box, and that is £20 a month plus the £4.25 shipping. Every box is the same shipping amount. So you can get those two, and that's its its normal subscription original. With the originals, we do get the ones that are genre specific. So you get the Afterlight box, and the Afterlight box is a romance, not dark romance, just romance. And that is £20 plus shipping. And you get the Evernight, which is the horror subscription, which is the one I get. And that again is £20 plus shipping. And new for this year, new for 2025, was the Starbright box, which is for science fiction only. Because I don't know about anybody else, but whenever science fiction came up in this normal box, I skipped it. I didn't care about the items. If it was science fiction, I just wasn't interested. So now they've separated it into a box of its own, and that with the others is £20 plus shipping. Now, new for 2026, every single book box is bringing out a brand new box. FairyLoot are doing it, Page and Wick are doing it, the Butterfly Book Club are doing it, and Illumicrate are doing it. So the new box for 2026 it's called Mindsight, and that is going to be crime and mystery only. And that again is going to be £20 a month plus shipping. They haven't put any price update up for the end of the year. Usually book boxes do. FairyLoot did, but they've kept most of their subscriptions the same. But Illumicrate haven't put one out yet. So as of today, these are what the prices are. The normal box and the Afterlight are monthly. The Evernight, Starbright and Mindsight are going to be quarterly. Because who can afford all of them? So with this being our recap, we are going to go through the books that came in the normal yellow box every month, and then I'm going to do a recap thing at the end. So the January theme was Fantasy Emporiums, and the book choice was Watermoon by Samantha Sotoyambo. I'm sorry if I butchered that. But this is the one that came in January. And this cover is just beautiful. It's so artistic. It's so fantasy. And we do wrap around. It is a wraparound cover. I love that every bit of it is used. And this is what it's like when it's opened up. Now the edges do wrap around, so we get on the top and on the bottom. And we get, it matches the cover, something wonderful. But these are the edges. And it does match the cover. It even sometimes goes, you could be fooled into thinking that it actually goes in a wraparound all the way around. So let's have a look at the naked hardcover. So this is the naked hardcover. And it's not shiny like some of the normal hardcovers are. It's actually like it's a canvas. So beautiful. And again, just like the dust jacket, it does wrap around. So if we open it up, this is what we get. Stunning. A work of art. And the interior artwork, again, stunning. And it is different here on the back too. And we do get a letter from the author, and we do get a digitally signed page on there. And then we're into the book, so there are no trigger warnings. So if you haven't heard of this book, let's get into the blurb. On a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see only a cozy ramen restaurant, and just the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes on her first morning as the pawn shop's new owner to find it ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, quite unlike other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Together they must journey through a mystical world to find Hannah's father and the stolen choice, through rain puddles, hitching rides on paper cranes, across the bridge between midnight and morning, and through a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hannah must reveal a secret of her own, and risk making a choice she will never be able to take back. It sounds interesting, and it is, because I have actually read this. So I would categorise this as YA fantasy, and not just fantasy. I would say it's more of a YA theme book. And on Goodreads, it currently has a rating of around 3.7. Now, I gave it a 3.5 star rating. Straight down the board. Was it predictable? Yes. Did it do things I didn't like? Yes. Did I want to spend more time in the world? Yes. Illumicrate do have an online shop, and you don't have to be a subscriber in order to buy things from it. And no, I'm not sponsored. I am not paid by any of these book boxes for doing any of these videos. You don't have to be a subscriber to go and buy things from the shop, but you won't find this in their shop. You can find it on a different version on Owlcrate shop, but you can't find the Illumicrate one unless you go to eBay. I don't know about Vinted. I don't use it. But on eBay, you will find this from anywhere from £30 all the way up to £60. Not really a bargain, but if you know you're going to love the book, it is well worth buying it just for the art. Now, I do get the Illumicrate book with items. So the items that came in this box were these. The fluffy blanket, the tea strainer, the teapot rest, and single vases. Now, I still have everything from this box. The blanket is currently in use upstairs because my dog has claimed it as its blanket for when it goes to bed, and it does get tucked in. The tea strainer is up here. It was just this little tea strainer. Single vases are here because I didn't know what to put in them. I know what to put in them. You put flowers in them, but they're only really little. And the teapot rest has a teapot on it. This came in Illumicrate's box, in one of them in 2023. But this is the teapot rest. And I do rest my teapot on it. So all of the items in the January box I still get a use out of, even if the dog has claimed one of them. So all of them were pretty useful. I think my favourite out of the items is the blanket, when I can get hold of it. And you can comment down below which items, as I go through them, which items would be your favourites. And when we come to the end, to the rankings, you can play along with that as well, and I will reply to every single comment. So moving to February, and February's theme was You Make Me a Rebel, and I was so psyched for this box because all I wanted to read this year was pirates. I was really in the mood for pirates and ships and sea, and this was all of that themed box. And the items in this box were these. So you get the neck pillow, the luggage bands, the jewellery travel pouch, and a card wallet. Now, out of these, I have used the jewellery pouch, I have used the luggage bands, I haven't used the neck pillow because I already have one that I really like. I'm not using the card wallet because once you put something in, it's very easy for it to slip back out again, so I don't use that one. But February's book was Capitana by Cassandra James. I did get that right. And this is the cover for it. I liked it when I first pulled it out, but I'm not so keen now because like this is distressed, but it doesn't seem like it should be. And I don't like the way they've used. I love foiling on the covers of the books, but I don't like the way they've used it, and I don't like that this is shiny. And Illumicrate vary whether we get a barcode on it or not. So Watermoon didn't have one, and this one doesn't have one either. And we do get wraparound edges, so top, bottom, and we do get the sprayed edges. It's not a wow, but they are pretty, and they don't really seem to go with the cover much, aside from like these leaves. I do like the spine though. Now with Illumicrate, it is very rare that we get a reversible dust jacket. Very do it in all of their books. Illumicrate, it's a rarity. This is the hard case for it, and the hard case is the map for the story, and it does wrap around on here. So 2 birds, 1 stone, and this is what it looks like. So the interior artwork, this is what the interior artwork is. I like it. A night at sea, it's dark, it's dismal, and we do get a separate scene here on the back too. I like the first scene a little bit better. And we do get a letter from the author here, and we get a signature as well, and it is hand signed. This one is hand signed, and we'll come back to, because Illumicrate have made some changes this year. And not only we get another map. I love a map, so we've got a map on the back and a map inside. Love me a map, and I'm nearly dropping it. So if you haven't heard of this book, let's get into the blurb. Shamina Reel has spent her life training to become one of the black-cloaked cazadors, seafaring hunters who capture the pirates pillaging the Luzon Empire. But although Shamina is the top candidate at La Academia, that will not be enough for a daughter of the notorious Reels, pirate captains who were executed for their crimes. So when Gasparilla, the most infamous pirate in Luz's history, attacks the capital, Shamina offers to catch him in exchange for being named a cazadora. The Empire accepts on one condition. She must compete for her cloak against Dante de Leon, the pompous and infuriating son of the High Minister. Knowing this is her chance to prove herself once and for all, Shamina must set out on a dangerous quest across the archipelago to hunt Gasparilla. But no matter how far she sails, her family's pirate legacy continues to haunt her, and she soon has to question the very laws she's always fought to uphold. It sounds interesting. Now, I haven't actually read this one, and that is because I read an arc that had the whole Gasparilla legend. It was alright, but it wasn't great, and it kind of put me off picking this one up. And I have been notoriously bad and awful at actually reading the books that come in the book boxes, which is why I have cancelled a load of them, and I am only keeping 3. So again, this is another YA fantasy and is currently sat on Goodreads for around 3.2. So it isn't great, it isn't awful either. Now you can find the full box, that is the book and all the items, in the Illumicrate shop, as well as the book on its own if you are interested. And you can also find it up on eBay, which is cheaper than the shop, because you can find it up on eBay from anywhere from £10 to £30. Now in the shop, the full box will cost you £36. So if you're interested, see if you can grab a bargain up on eBay. But buyer beware as always, check the pictures, check the feedback. Now March's theme was haunting spirits, and this is the box. I still have the box because the whole thing is still up on eBay. Items, book, the lot. Because the items, I will never use them. So these are the items that came in the box. We have a magnet and a coaster. I would use the coaster, but I wouldn't use the magnet. We have an embroidery kit. I don't do embroidery, I do cross stitch. So, and that is only when I find the time. So yeah, they are all included in the box, and in the box is the book. And yes, it's still in the bubble wrap, as it's all for sale. So the book was The Prince Without Sorrow by Maythree. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, I'll butcher it, something awful. The cover is beautiful. I like the cover. And we don't have a dreaded barcode. And if you open it out, it does wrap around on here. Now the edges do not wrap around, So we do have a block colour top and bottom, but the edges match the cover. So beautiful, so stunning. So why is it up on eBay? The blurb doesn't interest me, but we'll get there. Now the hard case. That was a piece of art. That was a map. They've gone to just generic foiling, which is very nice, but I do expect a bit more from them. And we do get the foiling on the back as well. And the interior artwork, I really don't like it. I really don't like it. It's washed out. There's nothing happening. He's just stood there. And on the back, it's better than the one on the front, but I'm just not keen. And we do get an author letter, and we do get a digital signature, and we get a map. Illumicrate books love the maps, and I love it too. And then we're into the book, so we have no trigger warnings. So if you haven't heard of this book, we'll get into the blurb. Prince Ashoka is considered an outcast for opposing his father, Emperor Adil's brutal destruction of the Mayakari witches. Shakti vows retribution for the murder of her aunt and the annihilation of her village at the hands of the Emperor, even though she's bound by the Mayakari's pacifist code. In her anger, Shakti casts a violent curse, the consequences of which will leave both her and Ashoka grappling for power. Do they take it and risk becoming what they most hate? Or do they risk losing power completely as the world around them is destroyed? It's not something that interests me enough to pick the book up. So I thought I will put it on eBay, and it is currently sat on Goodreads at a 3.3 rating, which isn't great, but it isn't also awful either. And that is where you will find most Illumicrate books. There are just over 3. Now you can find this book and all the items in the Illumicrate shop for £36 something, and you can find the book only for £20. You can find it on eBay from anywhere from £10 to £45 for the book. And my box, this box in this video, is on eBay for £20. I will accept offers. So April Box's theme was Rival Realms. The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I like the cover, but I think I like the normal cover better. And it is one of the most chunky books Illumicrate have done this year. Still no barcode, so we like it. And it doesn't really it wraps around a little bit, but not so much that you would actually notice. And the edges do wrap around. So we get top, bottom, and middle. The edges are stunning. Stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Now this book is first in a series. So that's a standalone, that's a standalone, that's first in a series. And this is first in a series. So this is the naked hardcover. Full, bright, and beautiful. Completely stunning. The amount of artwork that goes into these books is ridiculous. So beautiful. The interior artwork, again, stunning, beautiful. I like how it's dark compared to sort of the bright hard case. And we get a different scene here on the back as well. Stunning. Subtle, stunning. And it is hand signed by the author. And we do get an author letter as well. And we get another map. Love me a map. And then we get another map. And then we're into the book. So there's no trigger warnings for this one either. So if you haven't heard of this book, let's get into the blurb. After 24 years on the throne, it is time for Bersen the Brusque, Emperor of Oran, to bring his reign to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 contenders will compete to replace him. Trained at rival monasteries, each contender is inspired by a sacred animal: fox, raven, tiger, ox, bear, monkey, and hound. An 8th, the dragon proxy, will be revealed once the trials have begun. 8 exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, the best of the best. Then one of them is murdered. It falls to the brilliant but idiosyncratic Nima Kara to investigate, but as she hunts for a killer, darker forces are gathering. If Nima succeeds, she could win the throne, whether she wants it or not. but if she fails, she will sentence herself to death and set in motion a sequence of events that could doom the Empire. Certainly sounds interesting. I haven't read it yet. It is currently sat on Goodreads at a 4.4 rating, which is magnificent for a book box book. Because usually, because they go out to so many people, it can vary. And no, I just haven't got around to it yet. Now, you can't find this in the Illumicrate shop, not this or the items that came with it, but you can find it up on eBay from £35 all the way up to £80. Could be a bargain, but also might not be. The items that came in this box were these. We got a Valaris jigsaw from Akatar, a pirate ship beach bag, artwork postcards, and a couple of sun catchers. Now, of these, the jigsaw, I don't like jigsaws. Illumicrate have done so many jigsaws this year, it is ridiculous. So I put it straight on eBay, and I don't even think it was up there a day because of the fandom it belongs to. Off that went as well. And Illumicrate are doing these as a series, so no doubt I will get another one next year, and that'll go up on eBay as well. But the sun catchers I have on my little Velux window upstairs. They're nice, they're pretty. The beach bag I took with me to Greece because it is this big and like this deep. It is ginormous and perfect for taking to the beach. You could fit so many things in it, and it has a zip along the top so things aren't going to fall in it. It is perfect. I get so much use out of that. The artwork postcards are pretty, but I have nothing to do with them. I was going to put them in a frame, but then I didn't, and then it rained through my window when it was open and they were there, and then they got wet and they had to go in the recycling bin. So my favourite out of all that lot is definitely the beach bag because I will be able to reuse it over and over again. It's big and I can put lots and lots of things in it. So next up was May's box, and the theme for May was ancient artifacts, and I skipped it because it is not something that interests me. So these were the items that came in it. Another plant pot, another flip coin. I already have loads of plant pots and flip coins. A replica bow to go with all the swords and daggers, which is the only item I kind of wanted, but with all the rest of it, I just couldn't be bothered. And they don't sell items separately, or they didn't at this point. And another book storage bag. I have about 5 of these. I don't use any of them because I like to see my books. I don't want them in book bag storage stuff. So if you have an idea of what I can do with them, because they're all just sat in a box, they're really thick and they're really, really pretty. And I have nothing to do with them. But the book was A Song of Legends Lost, a fantasy book. The cover's pretty, the hard case is pretty, the edges are alright, the interior artwork, it's nice, but the whole thing just didn't interest me. So this is the blurb for it. In the 9 lands, only those of noble blood can summon the spirits of their ancestors to fight in battle. When Timi, a commoner from the slums, accidentally invokes a powerful spirit, she finds it could hold the key to ending a centuries-long war. But not everything that can be invoked is an ancestor, and some of the spirits that can be drawn from the ancestral realm are more dangerous than anyone can imagine. Now, this book currently has a 3.9 rating on Goodreads, and you can find the full box, book and items, and just a book on the Illumicrate website. You can also find them up on eBay from anywhere from £12 for the full thing all the way up to £30. So it's cheaper to get it on eBay than it is to get it in the shop, especially if you're not sure whether you're going to like the book or not. Now, at the end of May, we all received an email. This is what we got, saying that the subscription box in its entirety, so the yellow, the normal one, Evernight, Afterlight, Starbright, Mine, everything, is no longer going to be offering hand signatures. It will be digital stamp or nothing, and the price of the boxes will not be changing. So this is the email that we got. We want to let you know that for the Illumicrate monthly subscription, we'll be moving away from hand-signed books and offering digital signatures only. As the Illumicrate monthly subscription has grown, we've been feeling increasingly uneasy over offering hand-signed books. Seeing frequent and very valid conversations from authors around the risk of injury, the time taken away from writing, and the physical space it takes to store the tip-ins while they're being signed has only added to this feeling. As a team containing multiple people who have chronic illnesses, we are very aware of the pressures people with chronic conditions can feel to keep up with people who don't. It is something we have experienced ourselves and do not wish our featured authors to go through. We feel strongly that the well-being and health of the authors we feature should be prioritised, and that's why for this particular subscription we will no longer be offering hand-signed books. So I think it is just the yellow one, but they're not offering them for Evernight either. You've hopefully noticed that every Illumicrate monthly book so far this year has had a redesigned cover, something we've only been able to offer in select cases in the past. They got lambasted last year for just colour changing the publisher's covers. The conversation with our publisher partners about how important this is for our subscribers was based on your feedback and happened in anticipation of removing hand-signed tip-ins from these editions so we could ensure they were all as unique and special as possible. We can confirm that every 2025 Illumicrate monthly book has a redesigned cover, and this is something we plan to continue offering, alongside including digital signatures, as well as bonus content and letters from the authors where possible. We love experimenting with the new and different finishes, and we'll continue to do so in order to bring you the most beautiful and exciting books we can. For our Afterlight and quarterly subscriptions and for Illumicrate monthly sequels, we will for now continue to give authors the option of hand-signing the books we feature, and we'll assess this decision on a regular basis. We'll always make it clear on theme reveals and announcements whether a book is hand-signed. They don't. They just say it's signed by the author. Thank you for supporting Illumicrate. Can't wait to share what we have planned for the rest of 2025. Now, if they'd left it alone, because they already did some hand-signed, some digital signed, some not signed at all, if they'd left it alone, there wouldn't have been a discourse. But there was. And this kicked off the summer of hell for Illumicrate, because I prefer hand-signed books. I prefer it. Even if it's a book plate, I prefer getting something that the author has signed. Digital signatures can be slapped on anything you like. The author doesn't even have to look at the book for it to be there. I like the idea of author stamps, because when I went to see Hannah Kana who did the Fallen Gods trilogy, she has an actual stamp in her books that is part of the books. It's like artwork. That I like. I like the stamp. I don't like the digital signature because it is just, I don't like it. I don't class it. And one thing I don't class as a digital signature is the signatures at the bottom of the author letters. You say, oh, well, it's digitally signed. Yeah, it's just at the bottom of your author letter. They don't even have to, I mean, somebody else could have wrote that letter and somebody could have just slapped a digital signature on. But it opens up the whole discourse about signatures. I primarily am a book collector. I prefer hand-signed books. I would rather have a hand-signed book or nothing at all. So moving on to June, and June's theme was darkly decadent. And the items we got in this box were this one. So we have a cup, a spoon rest, recipe note pages, and a picnic blanket, which I don't use any of them. The picnic blanket is folded up in a box because it's sort of the white clean material. I don't really like it. I would not class it as a blanket. The spoon rest I think is downstairs. The cup's downstairs. The recipe note pages I have no use for whatsoever. They're just in a box with a picnic blanket. And the book was A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poronet. I do have another of their books, which is Where the Dark Stands Still, that I still haven't read. And I haven't read this one either. But I do like the fantasy cover. And it does wrap around here on the back. So if they're getting rid of the whole signature thing to spend more time on the artwork, then you can't, it's got to be the standards have got to be raised. And when I speak of standards to be raised, I'm talking about the sprayed edges, because it does wrap around top and bottom, but this is what we get. It's supposed to be like swan feathers. No, if you're going to bleat about you're upping the game for your covers, your artwork, your interior artwork by getting rid of the signatures, then show it. Now this is the hard case. Beautiful. I like that they've used foiling in the windows to make them shine. And it does wrap around here on the back as well. So we do open it up to this scene here. Now, this is the interior artwork. It's all right. It just doesn't pop for me. We get a different scene here on the back, but again, it really doesn't do anything for me. And we do get a author letter, and we're starting with the author letter being the only digital signature we get. So if you haven't heard of this book, let's get into the blurb. Magic has long been outlawed in Oriel. Odile has always known she'd be the one to restore it. Raised by a sorcerer, Odile has spent years preparing for the heist of a lifetime. It's perfectly simple. Impersonate a princess, infiltrate the palace, steal the enchanted crown, and restore magic to the kingdom. But when the king is unexpectedly murdered, she's forced to recruit the help of Marie, the real princess, and the two begin to unravel a web of lies and deceit that leaves Odile uncertain of whom to trust. Soon, though, Odile must decide her mission or the girl she's falling for. The fate of the kingdom depends on her making the right choice. So I haven't read this one, and it is currently sat on Goodreads at a rating of around 3.7. You can find the full box, items and book, or book on its own, still in the Illumicrate shop. If this interests you, you can also find it up on eBay from anywhere from £13 all the way up to £60. So it is getting a bit pricey. So for the first 6 months, we're not doing so bad. Now, July's boxes theme was Yours Hatefully, and this is the items we got in it. We get a watering globe that you can put in a plant pot, a plate set, which is downstairs, a water bottle carrier, which I haven't used yet, and a pack of sticky notes, which are always useful. So all of these items will be in use at some point. It's only the water carrier that I'm not using right now. The book, however, I'm haunted by this book. This book is everywhere. I hate it with a passion. But this book is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, the Illumicrate version. I hate this cover. Hate it with a passion. It's the plasticky one, kind of like what they did with Starling House. So you've got a plastic see-through cover against the hardback. And they did it with The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I don't think it worked one little bit. I don't like every cover art for this book looks exactly the same. It's practically the same scene. The same characters look exactly the same. There's no like uniqueness about them. And the underside, the hardcover is it's awful. There is nothing there. I hate every little bit of it. The only bit that kind of redeems it is the sprayed edges, although they are pink and fluffy. They're a hell of a lot better than the cover. And the interior artwork, in every version of this book, it looks the same. They've chosen the same scenes, the same kind of angles. I don't like it. And I will go to my unboxing of this book to read the blurb because I don't have it with me. A slow burn, enemies to lovers romantasy featuring a scholarly healer and a gentleman assassin set in an exquisite fantasy world. Osric Mordaunt, member of the Fyron Order of Assassins, is in dire need of healing. Naturally, such is the grim comedy of fate. The only healer who can help is Orienne Fairhrim. Who came up with these? I mean, I know who came up with these names, but Jesus! These are not meant to be said out loud. Preeminent scientist, bastion of moral good, and member of an enemy order. Orienne is desperate for funding to heal the sick, so desperate that when Osric bribes her to help him, she accepts, even if she tests him and everything he stands for. A forced collaboration ensues. The brilliant woman in STEM is coerced into working with their PhD in murders, much to Orienne's disgust. As Osric and Orienne work together to heal his illness and investigate the mysterious reoccurrence of a deadly pox, they find themselves ardently denying their attraction, which only fuels the heat between them. I don't know whether it's going to be something I'm liking. So, if you can't gather, or if you are new to my videos, hello and welcome. And I have actually read this book, and the reason I don't have it in my hands is because I sold it. I one-starred it. That was only because I didn't DNF it. I did read it. One-starred it because what the hell. I do have a full rant review of this book down in the description below if you want a good time. But I am clearly in the minority with this book. It is a viral sensation, the first in a series. It is currently sat on Goodreads at around 3.7, so my 1 star is clearly in the minority. And you can't find this book or the items in it on Illumicrate's website. You can, however, find it on eBay from anywhere from £60 all the way up to £120, and it is digitally signed. Now, Illumicrate's Summer of Hell, it started bubbling with the taking away of hand signatures. It outright exploded when they announced this book for the July box. Because if you didn't know, this book it started as Harry Potter fanfiction. And it is a Hermione fanfic, so they've shipped Hermione Granger and Draco Malfoy, which I like the idea of the ship. This is only book 1, so it is a full series, but there are three Hermione fanfics published this year, picked up and published this year. There was The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, there was Rose in Chains, and there was Alchemized. I have all 3, I have only read 2. I've read Rose in Chains, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I haven't read Alchemized. I have read that and it was awful. But the backlash against Illumicrate for including this in the monthly subscription was outrageous. It went way too far, and it did cause them to shut down their Discord. Now, most of the book boxes have their own Discord sort of server thing where you can do read-alongs, you can chat about the books, you can see what's coming first, and you can see all these things. Page and Wick have one that's dead, completely dead. They said that they would revive it this year. They've posted a few things in it and then haven't posted in it since. And the Butterfly Book Club have one, and that is kept very up to date, and there's people posting in it all the time. That is a Discord that I really, really like to be in. And Illumicrate's wasn't dead. It was very, very active. And they had they kept all the books of the year, so the books were only removed after they'd been in the Discord for 12 months, just in case somebody hadn't got time to read it in the month and they wanted to pick it up a bit later and then go back and talk to people about it, which you could do. And they had it for every single subscription that they had, and general and everything. And then the whole thing kicked off about how dare publishers do pick up the Hermione fanfics and turn them into money-making machines. And Illumicrate got the brunt of it because they were the first book box to have it in the book box. Veryloot have it, and Owlcrate have it too, but they put it, theirs was a few months later. Illumicrate's was the first out of the gate, and as such they were lambasted online, causing the Discord to be shut down. Now, I couldn't find any messages in the Discord that were particularly against the book. There was people saying that they thought it was wrong that they were including it, but they weren't being hateful about it. If you go on the Discord now, this is what you get. You just get an announcement that the whole thing is shut down. It won't be brought back up again, but they haven't deleted it. I think that's more to do with they want to keep the name so nobody else can make one. They might revive it in future, but they haven't yet. We all used to do the read-alongs in it. I mean, I didn't because I'm crap at reading the book box books, but it was there if I wanted to. But yeah, that has tanked, all because they included this book and they were the first out of the gate for doing it. Now, all of the Discord around the Hermione fanfics will regurgitate in 2026 because this is first in a series and this is first in a series. I don't know about Alchemized. It's a bit thick to be the first in a series. But like these, it's either a duology or it's a trilogy. The whole thing's going to be reignited when it all comes out again next year. So moving on to August, and August's theme was Kill This Love. And this was the items that came in the box. I don't have them. It was a cushion cover I will never use, a magnet, a stamp set, again I won't use it, and a set of 2 ceramic pots that I didn't have a clue what they were supposed to be used for because they seemed a bit chunky for drinking and a bit wide for putting flowers in, and a bit short. And the book was Voidwalker by S.A. McLean, first in a series, another one that's first in a series. I like the cover. I quite like the hard case artwork. I'm not so keen on the edges, and I wasn't really a fan of the interior artwork. Well, let's get into the blurb if you haven't heard of this book. Fiona Mara is a smuggler. Antle is the reason her people fear the dark. Fee ferries contraband between worlds, stockpiling funds and stolen magic to keep her village self-sufficient, free from the blood sacrifices humans have paid to Antle's immortal species for centuries. Only legends whispered through the pine forest recall a time when things were different, before one world shattered into many, and the flesh-devouring beasts crept from cracks between realities, with their sable antlers and slender tails, lethal claws and gleaming fangs. Now mortal lives are food to pacify their carnivorous overlords, exchanged for feudal protection and the precious silver energy that fuels everything from transport to weaponry. When Fee gets planted with a stash of smuggled energy, a long-lost flame recruits her for a reckless heist that escalates into a terrorist bombing, and a coup against the reigning immortals, with Fee's home caught in the crossfire. She's always known the dangers of her trade, and the power she's wielded since childhood, allowing her to see the secret doors between dimensions, to walk the void itself. But nothing could have prepared her for crossing paths with Antle. For the deal she'll have to make with him, a forced partnership to reclaim his city that begins as a desperate bid for survival, only to grow into something far more dangerous, a revolution, and a temptation for how sweet the monster's fangs might feel. Now, I was not interested in reading this book whatsoever. After reading the blurb, it didn't seem like something that would interest me at all. Again, clearly I am in the minority because this book is currently sat on Goodreads at a 4.1 rating. And you can get the full box and items on, and just the book only, on the Illumicrate shop for like 36, the same as it would be for the subscription boxes. And you can find it on eBay from anywhere from £15 to £30. I think I sold mine for about £21. The full box, items and book, all for £21, and off on eBay it went. September's theme was Nightcore, and these were the items we got in the box. So we got the sword replica, which I think I still have. I do. So we got the sword replica, which I still have as decorating on my bookshelves, along with all the rest of them. A cosmetics bag that I think is upstairs, and I use it for when I go travelling. We got a bookmark set that I don't know the characters of, and I think I've got that up on eBay. I can't remember. And we got Night and the Moth bunting, which is cheap crap, and that went in the bin because it is cheap crap. And the book choice was The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovolino. And I didn't like the cover when I first pulled it out. It's alright. Still, it's alright. It's not the best. And although there is no barcode on it, to me, it doesn't really wrap around as some of the other ones have. Oh, did you hear that crack? It's glorious, isn't it? It doesn't really wrap around as the usual ones do. And I could give or take it. Now, the edges are where I have a problem. Because although they do wrap around top, bottom, and this, it doesn't go with the cover whatsoever. And it is incredibly lazy, because this book from 2023, from the Illumicrate subscription, is After the Forest. And these are the edges. The only difference is that this one's a bit bigger, and that this one has a bear, and that these are crisp, and this one is blurry. Lazy, 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 lazy. So much for getting rid of the hand sign signatures and getting a better class of art. So let's have a look at the naked hardcover. Now, this is the naked hardcover. It is foiling, but it is very just although it does match the sprayed edges. I just don't like it. This, where was this on the cover? Where was this on the front of the hardback? This should have been used a lot more rather than this or that. Where's this? The interior artwork it's a bit cartoonish for what I usually like. It's sort of been Disneyfied. I don't like it. I much prefer the scene on the back than I do the front. And we do get an author letter, we do get a little map, and then we're into the book. So no trigger warnings, and that signature hardly counts as a signature. So if you haven't heard of this book, let's get into the blurb. Grey Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage, Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to use. Grey would do anything for Kier, be anything for him, if he would only ask. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them into the dangerous heart of their nation's war, Grey and Kier will need to decide what they are willing to sacrifice to protect their secret. For Grey is no ordinary magical well, but heir to the lost island of Loch, the root of all power. If she dies, all magic dies with her. It sounds interesting enough. It's another one that I haven't read yet, but it's on the cards. And it is another one that is the first in a series. So there's lots of first in a series. And it is currently sat on Goodreads at a 4 rating. And you can find the full box, all the items plus book, and book only available in the Illumicrate shop. You can also find this up on eBay from anywhere from £20 to £50. So in the normal realm of secondhand special edition books. Now, at the end of September, we got another email from them because they are updating their skip policy. Although I didn't use it much, I think it was unlimited, which is ridiculous for a book box. So we got this email saying they're updating some of their subscription policies. So we want to let you know that starting in 2026, we'll be changing our skip policy. Our new skip policy will be effective from January the 1st, 2026. We've offered subscribers a very generous skip policy for quite a while. And while this was something we were pleased to provide, doing so has made it hard for us to predict renewals every month and make plans going forward. As such, we've introduced a few changes to our monthly skip policy. Please read the information below carefully. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact our support team. So for the monthly subscribers, you can skip 6 times in any calendar year from January to December. So you can skip half the year away and it not impact your actual subscription. For quarterly subscribers, you can skip twice in any calendar year. Now bear in mind you only get 4 books and it would reset for January the following year. Once you have a single skip remaining in a calendar year, you will receive an email notifying you of that. Exceeding the skip limit for any subscription in any calendar year would mean that your subscription is at risk of being cancelled with no additional warning. Which, why they weren't doing that in the beginning just blows my mind for how big of a book box they are. I mean, why would you have... I could skip 12 months and it wouldn't impact it. Just cancel the subscription and reapply. But nobody wants to reapply because the wait lists are ridiculous. The wait list for Illumicrate is not as ridiculous as Fairy Loot, but it is getting up there. Now, speaking of skips, the October theme was in every life, and I skipped it. This was another box that I just didn't bother with. The book did not sound interesting to me at all. I really didn't care. And I didn't like the mock-up covers that was going around. I really didn't think it was much to write home about. So this is the items included in October's box, which were packing cubes, which they gave us last year. So just reusing a product again. They gave us a cross-stitch kit. If you didn't like the embroidery on, I like cross-stitch, but this did not interest me at all. I have a box full of cross-stitch kits that I have had for years and I haven't got around to. There was a book pot, which I have a lot of book pots, and a keychain, which I've seen people unboxing and it looks cheap crap. So I am glad I skipped. The book was The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. I don't like the cover. I really don't like this cover. I'm not keen on the hard case. I don't like the sprayed edges, and I don't like the interior artwork. So I am very, very glad I skipped it. The FOMO, I have no FOMO for this. But if you do not know what this book is about, let's go for the blurb. In a Britain fueled by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over. The same tale retold over hundreds of lifetimes. Simran is a witch of the woods. Veena is a knight of the Queen's court. When the two women begin to fall for each other, how can they surrender to their desires when to give in is to destroy each other? As they seek a way to break the cycle, a mysterious assassin begins targeting tales like theirs. To survive, the two will need to write a story stronger than the one that fate has given to them. But what tale is stronger than the knight and the witch? I like folk tales, I like fairy tales. This channel started as a deep dive into the original fairy tales, which is coming back next year. But this book just didn't interest me one little bit. I am in the minority because on Goodreads, it currently is sat at a rating of 3.8, which is quite good. And while you can't find this book or the items on the Illumicrate shop, you can find it up on eBay from anywhere from £25 to £50, which isn't that bad if you really want a copy of this book. You would think with it being October that the book boxes would get in the Halloween spirit, but I don't think any single one of them did this year. They don't even get in the spirit for Christmas. I would love for them to actually incorporate the calendar events in the boxes. Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day. You know, like the days, I know that they are international, but Illumicrate are based in the UK, so you would think that they would incorporate the UK holidays, especially when there are so many of them. You'd think it, but they don't. So November's theme was academic rivals, and it's always around September, October time that you get the dark academia books, usually in September, but this one is in November. And these were the items that we got. Another jigsaw that is up on eBay, or was, it might have sold by now. A 2026 calendar that I didn't like any of the artwork. A laundry bag that is quite practical, it was quite big, but I don't have a use for it. And an iron-on patch, and I have no use for that either. So I think I got this box and I put the whole box of items up on eBay, but not the book. So the items sold. They've all gone. And the book is A Rather Vengeful Accord by Danielle Knight. I love this cover. There's something going on. To go from the last book being this cover to this one, I really like this cover. It's busy, it's dark, it's vibrant. I love it. I love the use of foiling around the edge, everything about it. And we do wrap around here on the back. Again, I love the foiling with all these symbols around it. And it does kind of open up, but not really carrying on. The edges do wrap around it, but they are all the same, top, bottom and middle. So you do just have lightning, you don't have any like proper arty-farty going on. The hard case is where I love this book better than the cover. I love this hard case, I really do. It's beautiful, so beautiful. And we open it up and this is what we get. Stunning, stunning. The interior artwork, I could take it or leave it. And we do have a different here on the back. Quite a swoon worthy as well. So we do have an author letter with a digital signature down here. Now it does say content warnings and glossary can be found at the back of the book. We'll come back to that because I have a bit to say about that. And I think I said the same thing during the unboxing as well. So if you haven't heard of this book, we're going to get into the blurb. At the elite college of Serpendigasts, gravers raise the dead and turn corpses into unnatural abominations, while spirers battle undead horrors in grand arenas, thrilling crowds with divine spectacle. Halen Kilchaw would kill and resurrect anything to study graving at Serpendigasts, but Hal cannot enlist alone. The only way she can secure admission is to enter a dangerous accord with her mortal rival. Alistair Fulton, a handsome, accomplished spirer and the infuriating exiled scion of the great Fulton dynasty. As Hal and Alistair fight grisly creatures and ghastly peers side by side, Hal faces the horrors of necromancy and the revolting prospect of a romance with her own nemesis. It sounds wonderful, and I haven't got to it yet. But we're going to go for the content warnings and my annoyance, because they have this full page, this full page with who the book's to, and it's a sentence saying content warnings and a glossary can be found at the back of the book. Put them at the front. you have all this unused space. Why just say, oh, please turn to the back for what should be on this page? A blank page, 2 blank pages, and about the author, and another blank page. And then you have 3 pages of acknowledgements and another blank page. And then opposite, the end sentence of the end paragraph of the entire book. Opposite that, not on any of the blank pages, it's only on the opposite of that you have the content warnings. So you can spoil the book for yourself with the paragraph at the end in trying to read the content warnings that you were told to read at the beginning of the book. Talk about a shit design choice. So the content warnings are necromancy, death, dead bodies and body horror, fighting, violence, blood, gore and injury depiction, poisoning and emesis as a result. Don't know what that is. Neglect and emotional abuse by parents, bullying, manipulation of a child by an authority figure, off page before the story begins, miscarriage and stillbirth mentioned as a minor character, murder and alcohol use. That is your page of content warnings that could have been on any of the blank pages further to the back, or included on the page where you told people to go and have a look. A ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous design choice. It's currently sat up on Goodreads as a rating of 3.6, and you can't find the book or the box on the Illumicrate website. You can only find it on eBay at the moment, and it's going for anywhere from £15 all the way up to £30. So yeah, I kept the book and sold the box full of items. I think for like £12, they got the lot. I wasn't going to use any of it. It might as well go to somebody that can use it rather than me just chuck it in the bin. And then we are into December, the last box of the year. And the theme for December's box was stories within stories. And this was the items that we got in it. We get a reading journal that will definitely see, that'll definitely see some use. I have already started filling it in with reading goals for next year. A bookmark album that, although can't fit the butterfly bookmarks in it, it hopefully will be able to fit the Fairy Loot ones in because they're a little bit smaller. A bookmark to go with the bookmark book, and stickers of every book that we've had this year, which is wonderful when I was trying to guess which books were which. So all of that, I will use every single one of them, and have already started using some of them. So it's a good item box. But the book that came in was The Bookshop Below by Georgia Summers. I love this cover. I love it. It's a library, it's books, it's a book about books. What am I not going to love? And it does wrap around onto the back as well. So we haven't had a dreaded barcode all year. We're doing rather well. So this is what it looks like when it's opened up. Absolutely fantastic. The edges do wrap around, so you get the top and the bottom and the middle. Bookshelves of books. That's what we get. Bookshelves of books. So this is the hard case. It's a lot different to what the usual ones are because it's shiny, which means if I turn it to the light, you can see the ring light in it. It's very shiny. And it continues onto the back where only part of it is shiny. So again, if I open this up, this is what it opens out to. The interior artwork, it's nice, but again, it's kind of Disney-fied, and I don't particularly like it. And we do have a different scene here on the back. Again, it's a bit sort of Disney-fied. We get an author letter, and hardly any of the Illumicrate books have actually come with trigger warnings, apart from the one that is opposite the last page of the book. So if you haven't heard of this one, and it has only just come out, let's get into the blurb. If you want a story that will change your life, Chiron's Bookshop is where you go. For those lucky enough to grace its doors, it's a glimpse into a world of deadly bargains and powerful magical books. For Cassandra Fairfax, it's a reminder of everything she lost when Chiron kicked her out and all but shuttered the shop. Since then, she's used her skills in less ethical ways, trading stolen books and magical readings to wealthy playboys looking for power money can't buy. Then Chiron dies, and if Cassandra knows anything, it's this: the bookshop must always have an owner. To restore the shop, she'll need the help of Lowell Sharp, a rival bookseller who's everything Cassandra is not, and knows it too. But as she is plunged into a world of unscrupulous collectors, deadly ink magic, and shady societies, a dark force threatens to unravel the bookshops entirely. I like me a book about books. Although this has just come out, it came out either at the end of November or at the beginning of December, it is currently sat on Goodreads at a rating of 3.6. Now, although I haven't read this one, I have read her first book that came out, which was The City of Stardust. And it was alright, it was very YA. So I'm expecting this to sort of go in that niche, more YA than adult. And because this has just come out, you can't find it on the Illumicrate shop yet. Usually the subscription boxes wait a month or so before they put up the boxes and the books, just so subscribers have a chance to get them nationally as well as in the same country where they are. But you can find the full box and the book, or the book on its own, up on eBay from anywhere from £25 all the way up to £50. So out of the 12 books this year, I still have 8. One of them is up on eBay. This one is up on eBay. And the rest of them, I think out of that lot, I have only read that one. The rest of them I have either read and sold, or just sold or skipped. So yeah, I am very far behind, but I have a plan for the new year. My book journal that I got into is going to help with that, as is the big book journal that I got from the Quirky Cup Collective, which, if you don't know, they're in Australia. I didn't realise they were in Australia when I bought the damn thing. And it's a 3-year book journal all in one. So I'm gonna love filling that in. I love making lists. So are the subscription books the only ones I bought this year from Illumicrate? No, of course not. I went a bit mad with pre-orders, and not just for Fairy Loot, I went a bit mad with Illumicrate as well. Because although in my defence, some of the pre-orders that I bought matched the first book in a series that I have already read. So in my defence, it was just a carry-on, and I want my books to match. And the first of those was Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner, which goes with the Fallen God series being Godkiller, Sunbringer, and then Faithbreaker. It is the last in a series. I have actually read the first one. I read the first one earlier this year. I had a plan to read the next one, and then my plans went all kaput, and I had to buy it because it's a set. And my next one was Rose in Chains. Now, this is the other of the Hermione fanfictions. I hate the cover with a passion, but I wanted a special edition of it, and the Fairy Loot one is just extreme rare and extortionately priced, and I couldn't get hold of any other one. I hate the cover. I hate the cover art. I really hate it. And I hate the fact that if I can't get a different special edition of this book, I will have to find the special edition to match it, to match the second one, because that's how it goes. I have to have the second one to match. I much prefer the hard case. So if it's a series I'm going to keep, I might just bin the dust jacket, because I hate this. This I hate. And then another one that was next in a series that I had to have to match the first one was Lord of Ruin. This was the first one. So you see, it matches. Although the spread edges don't match, they are no less stunning, and the hard cases are to die for. So I had to get it to match the series. And again, with matching series to the first one, I had to get The Last Soul Among Wolves, because I got the first one, The Last Hour Between Worlds. Now, this, when I talk about Illumicrate recolouring the publisher's copies for hard cases, for dust jackets, and not being putting much effort into them, these are just a recolour. But I wanted them to match. So I have read this one. This got a glowing 5 stars. It was my first read of 2025. So this might be one of my first reads of 2026. You never know. And the other series that I couldn't pass up buying in its entirety was the Farseer trilogy. Now, you'll notice in my hands I only have 2 books. That is because reading the second one, and I don't want to go disturb it just to put it in a video. So the edges do all fit together. It kind of goes together like that, but there is another book that goes in the middle, and I love the covers. Now, if you have seen my unboxing of it, you will know that I had an issue with this book, being there was a hole through the artwork page. And that was my reason for contacting Illumicrate customer services this year. And they got back to me within 2 days, and within the week I had the brand new copy and they didn't ask for the other one back, so the other one went on eBay. Gone for about a tenner. So now we get into our rankings. So, of the books, these ones and the ones I've got rid of, which has the worst dust jacket? Now remember, put your answers down in the comments. So for me, the one with the worst dust jacket is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, because I don't like anything about it. I don't like the plastic. There's hardly anything on the hardcover that you can see through the awful plastic. I don't like anything about it. So I would have to go with, oh, it's so hard, the bookshop below, because it really is hard to pick between those two and this one. But I like the use of foiling on it. I like that it's in a bookshop. I like the blue. I like both of them, but this one wins out for me. Now, the one with the worst edges. Now I'm going to try and turn these around a bit. I hope you can kind of see it. The ones with the worst edges, it would have been A Treachery of Swans up here, because I don't like anything, but The Second Death of Locke gets it because they are generic lazy and they are bloody blurry. It contains no originality in there whatsoever because they did the same for a book 2 years ago. So which are the best edges? This was a little bit harder. I'm going with the Raven Scholar because these edges are stunning. They wrap around and are stunning all the way around. Just beautiful. Pure special edition. Gorgeous. So which has the worst hardcover artwork? For that, we're going to have to strip them. So now we're all turned around. Which is the worst hardcover artwork? For me, it was a tie between The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, but that's kind of tied in with the dust jacket because you can see it through it. While that is just a generic foiling, I can't abide The Second Death of Locke. I hate it. It's awful. I don't like anything about this. I really, really don't. Not when they have that on the back of it. Why is that not at the front? And that just got rid of. Now the one with the best hardcover artwork was a little bit harder. And really the ones that were in the running is the bookshop below, A Rather Vengeful Accord, because I love the sort of gothicness of this. But the one that wins it is Watermoon because it's canvas, it feels painted, it's absolutely stunning. And it just feels so canvassy. So the one with the worst internal artwork, The Prince Without Sorrow, because I don't like anything about this. Not anything at all. I don't like the front. I'm not so keen on the back. I don't like anything about it. And the one with the best interior artwork, again, was a little bit harder to choose. The Raven Scholar. Not only does it have the best edges, but it has the best artwork as well, in my opinion. Because I think it's stunning, especially the shading on this one. So beautiful. Now, like I said, I have actually read some of them. So we're going to go for a rating. So the worst by rating, if you can't guess already, is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, because if I hadn't made it through that, it would be a DNF. As I did, it only gets 1 star, because that is more than it deserves. And moving on to my best, the ones that I have read, is Watermoon, because it got 3.5 stars. And although it let me down a little bit at the end, I thought it was an adult fantasy, not a YA. It was YA, but it's no less a fantasy thing. And I did really, really enjoy my time reading it. So that was my Illumicrate recap for 2025. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What did you think? What do you rate these ones as? Let me know, and remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring that little notification bell, because that is the only way you will be notified whenever I upload a video. Whether that be a book review, a rant review, a book tag, a wrap up, or a book box recap. So until next time, keep reading.